कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं कौ नयाति परां गतिम् यत्पिबं सततं रामचरितामृतासागरम् अदृप्तस्तं मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेतसमकल्मषम् गोष्पदीकृतवारासं मसकीकृतराक्षसं रामायणमहामाला रत्नं वन्दे अनिलात्मजम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीसमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् आमिषीकृतमार्ताण्डं गोष्पदीकृतसागरं तृणीकृतदशग्रीवम् आञ्जनेयं नमाम्यहम् उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धोःसलिलसलीलं यशोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनेव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम् आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलानं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजातधर्मूलवासिनं भावयामि पौमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि यः कर्णाञ्जलिसम्पुटैः हरः सम्यक् पिबत्यादरात् वाल्मीकिर्वदनारविन्दगलितं रामायणाख्यं मधुः जन्मव्याधिजराविपत्तिमरणैः अत्यन्तसोपद्रवं संसारसह विहाय गच्छति पुमान् विष्णोर्पदं शाश्वतं तदुपगतसमाससन्धियोगं सममधुरोपनतार्धवाक्यबद्धं रघुवरचरितं मुनिप्रणीतं दशशिरसश्च वदं निशामयध्वं वाल्मीकिगिरिसम्भूतां रामसागरगामिनी पुनातु भुवनं पुण्यात् रामायणं महानदी श्लोकसारसमाकीर्णं सर्गकल्लोलसङ्कुलं काण्डग्राह्यमहामीनं वन्दे रामायणार्णवम् वेदवेदे परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजं वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना वैदेही सहितं सुरुद्रमुतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वाच इति प्रपञ्चनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं वाक्यान्तं वरदादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजे श्यामलम् वामे भूमिसुता पुरश्च हनुमान् पाश्चात् सुमित्रासुतः शत्रुघ्नो भरतश्च पार्श्वदलयोः वायव्यादिकोणेषु च सुग्रीवश्च विभीषणश्च युवराट् तारासुतो जाम्बवान् मध्ये नीलसरोजकोमलरुचिं रामं भजे श्यामलम् माता रामो मत्पिता रामो भ्राता रामो मत्सखा राघवेशः सर्वस्वं मे रामचन्द्रो दयालुः नान्यदेवं नैव जाने न जाने साकेते शरदिन्दुकुन्दधवळे सौदे महामण्डपे पर्यस्ता अगरुधूपदीपललिते कर्पूरदीपोज्ज्वले सुग्रीवाङ्गदजाम्बवत्परिवृतं सौमित्रिणा सेवितं लीलामानुषविग्रहं रघुवरं रामं भजे श्यामलम् मेघश्यामं महाबाहुं स्थिरसत्त्वं दृढव्रतं कदा द्राक्षामहे रामं जगतः शोकनाशनं जयत्यतिबलो रामो लक्ष्मणश्च महाबलः राजा जयति सुग्रीवा राघवेण अभिपालितः दासोऽहं कौसलेन्द्रस्य रामस्य क्लिष्टकर्मणः हनुमान् शत्रुसैन्यानां निहन्तां मारुतात्मजः रावणसहस्रं मे युद्धे प्रतिबलं भवेत् शिलाभिस्तु प्रहर्तारपादपैश्च सहस्रशः अर्धयित्वां पुरीं लङ्काम् अभिवाद्यश्च मैथिलीं समृद्धार्दो गमिष्यामि विशतां सर्वराक्षसां धर्मात्मा सत्यसन्धश्च रामो दाशरथिर्यदि पौरुषे च अप्रतिद्वन्द्वः शरयेन जहि रावणीं नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवगौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे तपस्वाध्याय निरतां तपस्विं वाग्विदां वरं नारद परिपप्रच्छ वाल्मीकिर्मुनिपुङ्गवम् ओं रमाय नमः हरे कृष्ण. Today we will be continuing our Ramayana. Today we will discuss about the birth of Lord Ramachandra. Last week we have completed the Ashwamedha Yaga ritual, how Dasharatha performed the Ashwamedha Yaga ritual, what are the details involved in it. And then after the completion of the ritual, Dasharatha along with his entourage, his family of 353 wives, and then with all the priests and Brahmarshis like Vasishtha and his 8 ministers, Suyagna, Jabali, his religious ministers, Suyagna, Jabali, Kashyapa, Katyayana, Markandeyu, Dirghayu, and Vasishtha and Vamadeva. And also his 8 ministers, Drishti, Jayanta, Vijayanta, Rashtravardhana, Surashtra, Akopa, and Dharmapala, also Sumantra. With all these ministers, he went back to his palace. And all the kings, ministers, and so many other villagers and people of different kingdoms who have gathered in Ayodhya, they also left Ayodhya after the Aswamedha ritual, one after the other, slowly. Shanta and Rishyasringa. Rishyasringa is the son-in-law of a sage, a king called Romapada, who was a friend of King Dasaratha, who attended Aswamedha Yaga ritual. They also came back to Ayodhya, and then Romapada took leave from Dasaratha. Similarly, Rishyasringa and Shanta also took leave from Dasaratha. They also left Ayodhya. Dasaratha, last week we have discussed how he had distributed the divine payasa, or the divine sweet dessert that was given to him by the Yajna-purusha who came out of the sacrificial fire. He gave that divine dessert to Dasaratha and asked it to share between his wives, and then upon taking that dessert they would get children. So Dasaratha distributed the dessert. One half of it he gave it to his Kausalya, and then half of the remaining half he gave it to Sumitra, and half of the remaining portion he gave it to Kaikeyi, and then he came back and whatever was remaining he gave it to Sumitra again. So this ritual started in Chaitra Masa, and then again it came back and finished in Chaitra Masa. It is a 1 year ritual. So they released the sacrificial horse in Chaitra Masa, which is it comes during April. Right now in this Yuga, in this Kali Yuga, at this time it is during April. But Ramayana happened very, very long ago. So at that time, we don't, according to the Julian calendar, what we have, it could be different. So it started in Chaitra Masa, and then it came back to Chaitra Masa again. So 1 year it took to complete the ritual. So after that, again it took 1 year for the birth of Lord Ramachandra. Because they say that Ramachandra resided in the womb of Kausalya for 12 months. So from the point of taking the divine payasa, or at least more than 10 months. So now they are all waiting for children. All the 3 queens became pregnant. So they were expecting children in the future. So we'll discuss today about the importance of all incarnations that have taken place before the incarnation of Lord Ramachandra. So Krishna, he promised in Bhagavad Gita, he said, why would he appear time after time on this earth? He said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharataha abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanardhaya sambhavami yuge yuge. He said that whenever there is a decline in righteousness or in dharma, at that time I would appear again and again. For what? Paritranaya sadhunam, to redeem, to give the redemption to all those saintly persons from the distress and from these unrighteous criminals in this world. He would save the mankind, and for such reason he would come time after time. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam. He destroys the evil people. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam sambhavani yuge yuge. Every yuga, time after time he comes. It's not just every yuga. Whenever there is a decline, he would come. We can see in this Treta Yuga, Rama appeared in Treta Yuga. Rama appeared in Treta Yuga. Ravana was there since Satya Yuga, we can understand that, because he was fighting Bana, Anaranya, and Kartavirya who were a little earlier to Ramachandra. And Treta Yuga, in Rama this Ramayana happened in the beginning of Treta Yuga. So we can see that Satya Yuga was declining because of the presence of Ravana. Because of his evil business, Satya Yuga was declining and Treta Yuga was starting. In Satya Yuga means dharma will be, righteousness will be standing on 4 feet. Like, it's balanced. Treta Yuga, it will stand on only 3 feet. Dharma means, the, I don't know exact word in English, what do you say for dharma? Righteousness or good conduct or whatever, It stands on 4 feet in Satya Yuga, so it is balanced. So when you remove one leg, it is imbalanced. So in Treta Yuga, it is imbalanced. And in Dwapara Yuga, it stands on only 2 legs. And in Kali Yuga, on only 1 leg. So we can see all that. So Rama came so in Treta Yuga, Rama is about to appear. But before Rama, in how many incarnations has he appeared to save mankind and to save the dharma from the Rakshasas or the evildoers? First he appeared as Meena Avatara to save King Satyavrata from the deluge, of the great flood. This is mentioned in most of the religious scriptures, not just in Hinduism. It's there in Islam, it's there in Christianity. But in other scriptures, it is said it happened only 5,000 years ago. But according to the Hindu scriptures, it happened many, many, many millennia before. So when Satyavrata was a king, to save the Vedas and the sages, he appeared as a fish. First, when Satyavrata was doing his early morning rituals in a river, nearby a river, Lord Vishnu, in the form of a fish, he was captured in his kamandala, which is a small vessel. He saw a tiny fish, and then it immediately grew to the size of that vessel. He took it and put it in a bigger vessel. It grew to the size of that vessel. He transferred it vessel after vessel, but the fish started to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And then finally he put it in the lake. It grew to the size of the lake. Then he transferred it to the river, and thereafter it to the ocean. But still the fish grew bigger and bigger. Then he realized this is not just an ordinary fish. It is Vishnu himself. It's the Supreme Lord. Then he asked, "For what purpose am I to serve you?" Then the Lord replied, "Take all the rishis, the 7 sages, and all the grains, all the seeds that can germinate into all kinds of vegetation on this earth. Take all those things, and also the animals, and make a big ship, and then get onto that ship. And then I, with my horn, and with Vasuki, a serpent, as the rope, I will pull this ocean, and I will transport you to a safe place. And after the flood recedes, you can again continue, the life, the Vedas will remain." The Vedas were not in any written form. During the time of Satyavrata, the Vedas were transferred, to the next generation only through oral recitation. People used to have sharp memories, so that's why the sages were protected, because they knew the Vedas. So here, when you protect the sages, they protect the Vedas also. So that's the intent. So that was the first avatara of Vishnu, Matsya Avatara. And then he came as Kurma Avatara. This we will discuss as we go in Ramayana. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha. Varaha Avatara, he saved planet Earth when it was taken away by Hiranyaksha, another demon Rakshasa. And then there could be a great ocean in the universe somewhere, we don't know. So he put it there, and then Lord Varaha saved it. So we'll discuss all the 9 incarnations, just the names. Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasimha, Vamana, Parashurama, Rama, Balarama. Then they say Krishna also as Buddha. Jayadeva accepts Buddha as some our acharyas accept Buddha as the incarnation. Sri Vaishnavas, they have another chronology. So it's like variations. But anyway, so among all these, Narasimha Avatara is one avatara that is dearmost to all our devotees. Many people ask this question. Once I heard the lecture of Hanumat Preshak Swami. He said, one person came and asked, when he saw the Narasimha picture, Narasimha means a lion-headed, the head of the person would be in a lion, the body would be like a man, and then killing Hiranyakashipu, tearing his stomach and then taking all the intestines and putting on it. Then he asked, is your God so cruel? Is he like this? And Hanumat Preshak Swami explained that, yeah, to all the meat eaters, our God is like this. But to all the devotees, he is not. He's like Krishna, like a little baby, with the peacock feather on his head. And he wears yellow robes and with a garland made of 5 kinds of flowers, fragrant. And he is Sarvamangala, Divya Mangala Swarupa, Sachidananda Vigraha. Means knowledge, bliss and beauty are all the components and attributes of his divine body. He is such a beautiful person. And God is a person. That is the central and fulcrum point of our spiritual path, that God is a person. I heard from one of the sannyasis, Umapati Swami, His Holiness Umapati Swami. He said that Prabhupada told that God is a person, and he thought that is the most intelligent thing that he had ever heard, that God is a person. Why? I asked him while going on the steps, why do you think that is the most intelligent statement? Then he explained that the absolute truth, if somebody is saying that he is a person, that means he is confident that he can show him. So if he is a person, yeah, he can show him, he can see. Whereas if you say, oh, it doesn't have any form, it is like, all-pervading this thing, so he can never show you the absolute truth. So somebody who doesn't claim that God is a person can never show you the God, right? So he cannot see the absolute truth. So the absolute truth is a person, and we accept it, and we treat him as a person. So we worship our deities and we treat them as persons. And just like the milk all pervades the body of a cow, but it is only accessible from the udder, similarly the all-pervading Supreme Lord is accessible through the deity. Because it's our inability, we cannot see him everywhere. So we ask him to come and reside in deity, and we treat it as a person. And then we establish our eternal companionship with the Supreme Lord, and we feel the divine bliss. So whenever we come home, even if nobody is there, we would never feel alone, because we have our eternal companion with us. And we have this relationship with the Lord since eternity. Krishna explains, Natvayevaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam atah param. Neither these kings, don't think that these kings never existed before, nor will they cease to exist. They have always been there, and they will always be there. So similarly, we were always there. We were also during the time of Rama. That is what we are trying to recollect. What position of ours is with Rama? What was our relationship in that yuga? So by recollecting Ramayana, by reciting Ramayana many times, time and again, we might one day recollect the memory of our relationship with the Lord, because we were present with him at that time. So, Narasimha Avatara, there's one special incident. It is appropriate to discuss the importance of these incarnations before the birth of Lord Ramachandra, because today we are going to spend the entire time discussing the birth of Lord Ramachandra. So, Prahalada, he was questioned by Hiranyakashipu that if your Lord is all-pervading, is he in this pillar? Is he in this inanimate pillar? Then Prahalada said, yes, he is in this pillar, and so he will be there. If you want, please check it. Then Hiranyakashipu hit that pillar with his mace. Prahalada tells a nice sloka at this point. He says, Indu galadu, andu ledani, sandehamu valadu chakri, sarvopagatundu, yendandu vetikina, andande kaladu, danavagrani vinten. That means he is here, he is not there. Don't think like this, my dear king. If he is here, he is everywhere, if you listen to me properly. So saying, Prahalada explained. Then Hiranyakashipu hit that pillar, and then there was a loud noise, and Lord Narasimha came out of the pillar and then took Hiranyakashipu onto his lap and then killed him. What was the boon of Hiranyakashipu? He asked that I should not be killed by any living entity. Neither by lions, neither by tigers, neither by men, neither by demigods, neither by that, neither by this. I should not be killed in a house nor outside my house. I should not be killed on the ground nor in the sky. I should not be killed with any weapon. Like this he put forth so many conditions. So Brahma said, okay, alright, I'll give you this boon. So Hiranyakashipu himself thought that I am invincible now. I am immortal. Nobody can kill me. But how he was cheated? He was not killed in the house. He was taken, and then he was taken outside the house, but not entirely outside the house. Just on the door frame, he sat right there. Narasimha sat there and then put him on his lap. So Hiranyakashipu was not on the ground nor in the sky. And also Narasimha, he was not an animal, lion, nor he was a human being. He was a lion-headed man, and he was not a demigod. He was Supreme Lord. And he did not use any weapon to kill Hiranyakashipu. He killed a nail with his nails. He just tore his... So this explains that no matter how rich we are, how technologically advanced we are, at one day you are going to die. So this is to prove to mankind that one day we have to die. So anyway, it is better to die thinking about God rather than doing all kinds of mistakes and then facing Him with several kinds of backed up sin with us. But anyway, He is merciful, He will forgive us. But that was the brief description of Narasimha Avatar. Coming back, so today Rama is going to appear. So after the yajna was completed, everybody started to leave for their respective places. On a particular day, what is that day? Tato yajna samapteshu ritunam sat samatyayuhu tatha cha dvadashamase chaitre navamike tithau nakshatrim aditi daivatye swaucha sansteshu panchasu graheshu karkataka vakpata induna saha prodhyamanam jagannadam sarvaloka namaskritam kausalya janayat ramam sarvalakshana samyutam. Kausalya janayat ramam sarvalakshana samyutam. Vishnu ardam mahabhagam putram ikshvaku nandanam lohitaksham mahabahum raktoshtam dundubhisvanam. Said, tato yajna samapteshu. After that yajna, completion of that yajna, ritunam sat samatyayuhu. After the ritus have passed, all the seasons have passed. Tathacha dvadashamase. In the 12th month, dvadasha. In the 12th month, Chaitre. In the month of Chaitra, Navamike, on the 9th day, Navamike Tithau, on the 9th day, Nakshatrim Aditi Daivatye, when the ruling star of the day was Aditi Nakshatra, and under Punarvasu Nakshatra, under Rama's Nakshatra was Punarvasu. Under Punarvasu, Nakshatrim Aditi Daivatye, Sovucha Sansteshu Panchashu Graheshu, that means all the 5 planets are in their exalted positions, namely Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Venus. All these planets were in their exalted positions. Vakpata Induna Saha. Vakpati is Brahaspati, Jupiter. Jupiter was along with the moon. Induna Saha. Prodhyamanam Jagannadam. As the day was progressing, Prodhyamanam Jagannadam, Kausalya Janayat Ramam. Rama was born to Kausalya. Vishnu Ardham Mahabhagam, the essence of Vishnu, was born as this Mahabhagam. Vishnu Ardham Mahabhagam, Putram Ikshvaku Nandanam, as the proud descendant of the Ikshvaku. Putram Ikshvaku Nandanam. Lohitaksham Mahabhagam, he had his eye corners of the eyes were red. Lohitaksham Mahabhagam Raktoshtam Dundubhisvanam. Raktoshtam, he had roseate lips. Dundubhisvanam, his voice was like a drum beat. So Raktoshtam Dundubhisvanam. With all these attributes, Rama was born to Kausalya. So 5 planets are in their exalted positions. and he was born in Karkataka Lagna, which is Cancer. In the Vedic astrology, the part of the day, the 24 hours is divided into 12 Lagnas. Mesha, Mithuna, Vrishabha, Mesha, Vrishabha, Mithuna, Karkataka, Simha, Tula, Kanya, Kumbha, Meena, like Vrishchika, Dhanush, Makara, like that they are divided into 12 parts. One day is divided into 12 parts. So, how do you decide the Lagna? When you are born, they look in the eastern direction, and in Chaitra month, the sun always rises in the Mesha Lagna. Like the horizon of the earth, if it is divided into 12 parts, each part will have so many degrees. So the sun in that particular Chaitra month, he will be within that Lagna only. So when anybody is born, when you look at the horizon on the eastern direction, whichever zodiac sign is present at that time in that month with respect to the sun, that becomes your Lagna. So in Karkataka Lagna, Rama was born, and the star was Punarvasu. Under Punarvasu Nakshatra, Prabhuji was telling me that 1/4 of that star was there in that Lagna when Rama was born, at that time. So when all the 5 planets are in their exalted positions, that means, especially when Jupiter represents a teacher. If Jupiter is exalted, he is very exalted in spiritual inclination. So Rama was like a teacher, he knew everything. And it also is the reason for his Mahapurusha Yoga. And because 5 planets are in their exalted positions, he had all this Malavya Yoga and things like that. Because Venus is also exalted, so Malavya Yoga tells that you will get a very good wife. And Rama got Sita. So Hanuman explains how great Sita is. He says that if all the wealth in the 3 words, Trishulokeshu, if you put it together, it was not equal to the 16th part of Sita. Hanuman tells that in Sundarakanda. So Rama got, so because he was born in this thing, and he was Purushottama. And the next day, in the early morning, when the Lagna was Meena Lagna, Pisces, and under the star of Pushyami, Bharata was born on the 10th day, Dashami of Chaitra month. And on the same day when Bharata was born, a little later, like when the day was progressing, under the same Lagna of Karkataka Lagna, in which Rama was born, Lakshmana and Shatrugna were also born. That means sun was also again exalted in it, that means they were born in the afternoon. Rama was born in the afternoon when the sun is in the highest position on the 9th day of Chaitra month under Punarvasu Nakshatra. And Bharata was born the next day, early morning at 4 o'clock. During the time of 4, in the Brahma Muhurta, Bharata was born. And then on the 10th day, in the afternoon, Lakshmana and Shatrugna were born. So this is the birth times and dates of Rama and Lakshmana. So we only celebrate Sri Ramanavami, right? I think since we have information about this, we should also celebrate the birthdays of Bharata and Lakshmana and Shatrugna, and Dasami also, Navami and Dasami. Some people have argued that Bharata was born 11 months later and things like that. But Ramayana, it is very clear that they were born, Rama was born today, and then Lakshmana and Bharata and Shatrugna, they were born the very next day. So they did not have much time gap in between them. So they were all born within in 2 days. So all the 4 children were born, and Rama, how beautiful he was. Raktostam Dundubhiswanam, and he has all the auspicious qualities. Kaushalya Shushubhe Tena Putrena Amita Tejasa Yatha Varena Devanam Aditim Vajrapanina. And Kausalya was shining with glory with her son, who is Amita Tejasa, who is more resplendent than the sun. Just like Aditi was shining with her son Indra, Vajrapanina. Like that, Kausalya was shining. So this is how Valmiki explained. And how many qualities Rama had? Sahirupo upapannascha viryavan anasuyakaha bhumau anupamaha sunuhu gunair dasaradopamaha. Says Sahirupo upapannascha. He had got all beautiful features. Sahirupo upapannascha viryavan. He is very powerful. Anasuyakaha. He was never jealous. Bhumau anupamaha. There is nobody comparable to him on this earth. And Sunuhu Gunair Dasaradopamaha. And in his qualities he was like Dasarada, like his father. He excelled him. Sachanityam prashantatma mridupurvantu bhashate uchyanopi parusham navuttaram pratipadyate. Sachanityam prashantatma. He was always peaceful. Mridupurvantu bhashate. He always spoke very sweetly. Uchyanopi parusham. If somebody spoke to him very harshly, navuttaram pratipadyate. He never used to respond. This was the quality of Ramachandra. Kadanchid upakarena kritena ekena tushyati nasmaratyapakaranam shatamapi atmavattayah. Kadanchid upakarena. If you do even a small favor to Ramachandra, kadanchid upakarena kritena ekena tushyati. Even if it is one deed like that. Kadanchid upakarena kritena ekena tushyati. He will always remember it, whatever you have done to him. Nasmaratyapakaranam. He will never remember any bad deed that you have done to him. Shatamapi atmavattayah. Even let those bad deeds be in hundreds of numbers, but he will not remember all those things. He was so good in his attitude towards others. That was Rama's quality. And the fourth one, we have mentioned three. The fourth quality is Sila Vruddhair, Jnana Vruddhair, Vayo Vruddhascha Sajjanaihi, Katayannasta Vainityam Astrayoga Antareshwapi. If a person is elderly by his sila, by his behavior, Jnana Vruddhair, if he is elderly by his knowledge, Vayo Vruddhascha Sajjanaihi, if he is good and if he is elderly by his age, Rama always used to spend time with such elders. Katayannasta Vainityam Astrayoga Antareshwapi. Even during practicing the archery, even during those intervals, he used to go and talk to, converse with those elders. This was his quality. Buddhiman, Madhurabhashi, Purvabhashi, Priyamvadaha. He is very good in his qualities. Madhurabhashi, he is sweet talker. Purvabhashi, Priyamvadaha. He is the icebreaker. He first initiates the talk. The weather seems to be good, like that. He initiates the talk. Madhurabhashi, Purvabhashi, Priyamvadaha. Viryavan, Nacha Viryena, Mahatasvena Vismitaha. He is very powerful, valorous, but still he is not proud of his strength. This is his one more quality. Like this, there are plenty of qualities about Ramachandra. Today we are discussing only a few. I am telling this because he is born today, so we want to let people know about his qualities today, because since it's a birth episode of Ramachandra, it is appropriate to discuss his greatness and his nature and all his attributes and qualities. Like that, Lord Ramachandra, he had all these qualities. One more thing is Samyak Vidya Vratasnato Yathavat Sangha Vedavid Ishwastrecha Pitusreshto Babhuva Bharatagrajaha. He was well versed in all the Vedas and archery, canon of missile sciences and everything. Samyak Vidya Vratasnato Yathavat Sangha Vedavid Ishwastrecha Pitusreshto. And in these sciences he excelled his father Dasarada. And who was that? Babhuva Bharatagrajaha. Here Valmiki addresses him as Bharatagrajaha, the elder brother of Bharata. This is one more quality of Ramachandra. And Vaiharikanam, Shilpanam, and he was very well versed with the fine arts, music, and even the sculptural arts, and in all those things he was well versed. And Nashre Sirato Vidwan Vruddhanam Pratipujakaha. That means he was not interested in any kinds of ill talk, and he was very respectful to the elders. न च नृतकतो विद्वान् न विरुद्धकथा रुचिः उत्तरोत्तर युक्तौ च वक्ता वाचस्पतिर्यथा. He was not interested in anything that is untruthful. At the same time, उत्तरोत्तर युक्तौ च वक्ता वाचस्पतिर्यथा. In conversing and in replying to others, he was like Brihaspati. Earlier we said that if somebody talks harshly to him, he would not respond. But if it comes to logic, and if somebody is arguing things like that, then he would retort back like a Brihaspati. When Jabali, in the Ayodhya Kanda episode, when Dasaratha passes away, Rama decides to stay in the forest and he wouldn't want to come to Ayodhya. Then Jabali proposes Ramachandra nihilistic views. He says that your father is just a body. He gave you birth. Now he passed away. He's gone. The relation is gone. Now you should come back and enjoy the kingdom. What for is the kingdom and all these things without enjoyment? You should come back. You are a Kshatriya. You should enjoy. You should come back. So saying, he presented all the bad views to Ramachandra. But then Ramachandra retorted back to him. He replied in a very, very harsh tone. When he said that your father is dead and there is no more relation between you and your father, Ramachandra was angered. And he said, Yan mata pitaro vrittam tanaye gurutastada. Before this, he first says, Jabali, that whatever you have spoken is not befitting to your stature. I wonder if you should be tolerated in the court of the king. He says that never he spoken so rudely to any elder, but for the first time, because Jabali spoke in a wrong way, he is saying that I wonder whether you should be tolerated in the court of the king. Then Vasishtha interrupted and said, no, his intention was you to bring back to Ayodhya. Please don't get angered. Don't be angered. Then Rama explains to Vasishtha that Yanmata Yan mata pitaro vittam tanaye krutastata nattu supratikaram tatu mata pitra chayatkritam yadha shakti pradhanena snapanotchadanena cha nityam priyavadanena tata samvardhanena cha. Before that he says, Devagandharva golokan brahmalokah tatah paran prapnuvanti mahatmano mata pitru parayanaha. He says, one who serves his father and mother, he will reach higher worlds like Brahmalokam and Golokam and like that. And he continues, Yan mata pitaro vrittam tanaye kurutastada nasu pratikaram tatu mata pitra chayatkritam yada shakti pradhanena yada snapanotchadanena cha nityam priyavadanena tata samvardhanena cha. Even during the time of Ramachandra, how parents used to take care of children, he explains here. It is wonderful to listen from the words of the Lord himself how parents used to take care of their children. He says, parents rub the body of their child in oil whenever he is ill. So this practice was there in Treta Yuga also. So parents rub their child with oil whenever he is ill. And they always speak to him, converse with him in a pleasant tone, right? Anybody outside we might fight or do anything, even when we are in the lowliest of our stages, still our parents talk in a very pleasing way. They give us support. Yada Shakti Pradhanena, whatever they have, little money they have, they give it to us, they try to raise us. Snapanotchadanena cha, Nityam Priyavadanena, talking very sweetly to us, Tata Samvardhanena cha, like that they raise the children. And such love of parents can never be requited. So you can never take back it. So the relation between the parent and the child is eternal. It is not just, this life you are just a bag of chemicals and then you die away and then, father becomes old and then put him in an old age or exploit him, milk him while he is making money and then throw him out. That's not the philosophy. So Ramachandra here explains exactly what is the relationship between father and the family, and the children. So he says it is not only for this life but also, it is eternal. So he never accepted that Dasaratha's relation with him has been severed. He always said that Dasaratha is my father. So this was the great relationship between Ramachandra and Dasaratha. And Uttarottara Yuktau cha Vakta Vachaspatiryatha. This was one of his qualities. He can rule any argument like this. One more incident is in Aranyakanda, when he promises the sages that I shall protect you from demons, I shall fight you, then Sita, this is a very, very classy romantic episode in Ramayana. Sita tells him that why should we kill Rakshasas? We don't have any enmity between Rakshasas and us. Why should we kill them? This unnecessary enmity will bring us calamity. You should not fight. Because Sita loves Ramachandra, she did not wanted him to fight Rakshasas and put himself in trouble, right? So she is very sweetly proposing him that you should not fight. And she tells him a story that once upon a time Indra saw a sage, increasing his power of penance, and he is advancing. So he came and gave him a knife. And when the sage took the knife, Indra gave him the knife and said, please protect this for me. And then the sage, took care of the knife. And his concentration was on the knife now. Now he slowly got attached to the knife, and his, power of penance was reduced with being attached to a weapon. So Sita proposes that, see, such a sage, he has fallen down. What to speak of us? You know all this. I know that you have great qualities, but still I am telling you because of my female, anxiety and because of my concern for you. Then Rama laughs at her and says, I like whatever you have said, because if you do not care for me, you would not say anything at all. So you are concerned, that shows your concern. So that shows that you are caring. I like that. But, my dear Sita, listen to me. Apyaham jivitam jahyam tvam va Sita vasa Lakshmana natu pratignyam brahmana samsrayaschaiva. That means, I will sacrifice my own life, you and even Lakshmana, but never will I take back my word that I have given to the sages. Listen to me, this is my pratignya. So he promises, he tells that to Sita. Sita also becomes happy at her husband's determination. That's why he is called Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. If the entire dharma is put into a container, if it takes a form, he is Rama. So today we are only spending our time discussing about the great glories of Ramachandra and on his birthday in our Ramayana. So, but we will proceed forward from next time onwards. Our Ramayana will continue with just the flow of whatever Valmiki has written. But praising the glories of Ramachandra is pleasing to most devotees. So we want to do it at least on one occasion. Valmiki's heart never satiated while he is reciting the many glories of Ramachandra in Ramayana. In Ayodhya Kanda, the first chapter is entirely dedicated just for the glories of Ramachandra. Whatever slokas I have told today is from the first sarga, first chapter of Ayodhya Kanda, not Balakanda. When he is born, he listed only a few. But in the Ayodhya Kanda, first chapter is called Rama the hero. And then we have all these some 25 to 27 slokas. And even later on, even when Sita asked Hanuman to tell about Ramachandra, actually the reason why we are saying this is, when Sita asked Hanuman to talk about Ramachandra, he said many slokas to Sita. So if somebody asks us to talk about Ramachandra, we should be able to tell them all his qualities. So that's why it is important to know what his qualities are. So when Sita asked Hanuman, he told her, Ramaha Kamalapatrakshaha Sarvabhuta Manoharaha Rupadakshinya Sampannaha Prasute Janakatmaje. So here Hanuman confirms that Rama did not develop these qualities over a period of time. Ramaha Kamalapatrakshaha, he is lotus-eyed. Sarvabhuta Manoharaha, he causes pleasure to all living entities. Sarvabhuta Manoharaha Rupalakshana Sampannaha, he has all the attributes. Prasute Janakatmaje, from the time he is born, O Janakatmaje, O daughter of Janaka, he has all these qualities when he is born. So Hanuman says this. Actually, today we had to discuss the birth of Vanaras also. I listed that. But we proceeded to Ramachandra. Okay, let me tell you a few more qualities of Ramachandra. Then Hanuman tells to Sita that Rakshita Jivalokasya Swajanasya cha Rakshita Rakshita Swasya Dharmasya Dharmasya cha Parantapaha. Says he is the protector of all living entities. Rakshita Jivalokasya Swajanasya Rakshita, he protects his men, his own clansmen, or all mankind. Rakshita Swasya Vrittasya, he also protects his own conduct as well as others' conduct. So if you want to conduct yourself with well-behaved manners, if you pray to Ramachandra, he protects your conduct. So you, after reading Ramayana, you would never behave in a bad way with any others. That's the intent, change of heart. So Rakshita Swasya Vrittasya Dharmasya cha Parantapaha, he protects the dharma. The same verse Narada tells to Valmiki that Prajapati Sriman Dhataripu Nisudanaha Rakshita Jivalokasya Dharmasya Parirakshita Rakshita Swasya Dharmasya Sajanasya Rakshita Veda Vedanga Tattvagno Dhanurvedancha Nishtitaha. The same words used by Hanuman is used by Narada also again while explaining to Valmiki. This is one thing I wanted to tell you, that when you read Ramayana, this is one beauty that you will identify with Valmiki Ramayana. Whenever Valmiki speaks, it will be in a different tone. It has a melody to it. And if Bharata speaks, you can say, oh, this has been spoken by Bharata. If Hanuman speaks, you can identify, oh, this is the language of Hanuman. If Sita speaks, you will identify this is the language of Sita. Like that, each and every character of Ramayana, when they speak, Valmiki has recorded as it is when they were speaking. That's why you can find this beauty in Valmiki Ramayana. So that's the beauty of Valmiki Ramayana. So anyway, so before Rama was born, all the demigods, they approached Brahma and Vishnu, we discussed last week, to help them. Then Brahma said, please procreate with all the Nagas, Pannagas, Vidyadharas, Yakshas, Kimpurshas, and she-bears and the she-vanaras, like female vanaras, all you demigods, you go and procreate with them your progeny and then give birth to vanaras. So all the demigods, they went and they did the same thing. And Brahma tells them, I have created such a son long ago. As I said last week, there was a discussion in our devotee community that whether Jambavan was a bear or a monkey. You may ask, what is the difference if Jambavan is a bear or a monkey? But to know the details, it's good, right? So if you want to draw a painting or something, you need to know who he is, right? You don't want to draw Jambavan as somebody else. So there is only one sloka in Valmiki Ramayana that talks about who Jambavan is. In all the 24,000 verses, there is only one sloka that says who Jambavan is, and nowhere else it is mentioned. For all other Vanaras, it is mentioned that they are monkeys, but Jambavan, it did not. This sloka is the one. Brahma says, Purvameva Maya Srishta Jambavan Rikshapungavaha Drumbhamanasya Sahasa Mamavakrat Ajayat. He says, long ago, Purvameva, I have created one son. His name is Jambavan, Rikshapungavaha. Riksha means bear. He is a bear. Drumbhamanasya Sahasa. When I was yawning, Mamavakrat Ajayat. He came out of my yawning. He is my son Jambavan. So you go and create your own sons right now to help Vishnu, who will be as powerful as you demigods are. So then Indra had a son called Vali. And the sun god Surya, the humidifier of all humidifiers of waters, the sun god, he gave birth to Sugriva. Then Varuna, the demigod Varuna, the rain god, he gave birth to Sushena. And Parjanya, the thunder god, he gave birth to Sharabha. And Gandhamadana was the son of Kubera. And Vishwakarma gave birth to the Vanara called Nala. And Agni, Pavakaha, the fire god, gave birth to a son called Neela. Neela is a glorious Vanara. And then the Ashwini twin gods, Ashwini twin gods gave birth to two monkeys who are as beautiful as Ashwini gods. They are Dvivida and Mainda and Dvivida. And we have one more. The most famous of all. And Hanuman is introduced in the last but he is not the least because he is the most prominent of all the Vanaras. Valmiki introduces him in the last. He says, Marutasya Aurasaha Sriman Hanuman Nama Vanaraha Vajra Samana Nupeto Vainatasya Jave Vainateya Samah Jave Sarvavanara Mukhyeshu Buddhivan Balavanapi. Says Marutasya Aurasaha. He is direct descendant of the air god. Marutasya Aurasaha Sriman Hanuman Nama Vanaraha. He is Sriman Hanuman Nama Vanaraha. His name is Hanuman. Vajra Samana Nupeto. His body is like as hard as diamond. Vainateya Samah Jave. Vainateya means Garuda. In swiftness, he is equal to the eagle god Garuda. Sarvavanara Mukhyeshu. He is the most prominent among all the Vanaras. Buddhiman Balavanapi. He is the most intelligent and he is the most strongest. Why he is intelligent? This even Rama explained in his first meeting with Hanuman. Right? For those of you who were not here, I think you were there, right? In Kishkinda Kanda, when Hanuman meets Ramachandra, he does a stotra, very beautiful stotra. Says, Rajarshit Deva Pratimau Tapasau Samstita Vratau Desham Katam Imam Praptau Bhavantau Varavarninau Trasayantau Mragaganam Anyacha Vanacharinaha Pampa Tira Ruhan Vriksha Vikshamanau Samantataha Imam Nadim Subajalam Sobayantau Tarasvinau Dhairyavantau Suvarnabau Kau Yuvav Chiravasasau Vishwasantau Varabhujau Vedayanta Hima Prajaha. Like that he speaks a big stotra and then he says Sugrivo Nama Dharmatma Kaschid Vanara Pungavaha Viro Vinikrito Bhratra Jagat Brahmati Dukkitaha. Like that he introduces Sugriva to Rama. Then Rama tells how intelligent Hanuman is. He says, he talks to Lakshmana. He says, Lakshmana, did you hear his words? How beautifully he has spoken? Nan Rigveda Vinitascha, Nan Yajurveda Dharinaha, Nan Samaveda Vidushakaha, Sakyameva Prabhashitum. One who has not read Rigveda, one who has not read Samaveda, one who has not read Yajurveda cannot speak like this. Sakyameva Prabhashitum. Is it possible for him to speak like this without reading, mastering all these Vedas? Then he says, Nyunam Vyakaranam Kritsam Anena Bahudashritam Bahu Vyaharata Anena Nakinchit Apashabditam. Says, Nyunam Vyakaranam Kritsam. Look at his grammar, how perfect it is. After speaking for such a long time, he had not committed even one mistake. Bahu Vyaharata Anena Nakinchit Apashabditam. He did not have committed even one mistake in a long speech. How beautiful his grammar is. So such a wonderful intelligence was Hanuman's intelligence. And obviously you know all his strength. When he crushed the Rakshasas, just like an elephant crushes ants. In Sundarakanda you see how Jambumali, if you take a nut and then hit it with a sledgehammer, how the nut will shatter. Similarly, when Hanuman, with his fist, when he pounded against Jambumali, his body was scattered to pieces and bones, fragments of bone. He was so powerful. And there was a, anecdotal story also we said at that time. So he was so powerful. Like all the eagles, they were talking to themselves, saying that during the time of Rama Ravana Yuddha, they were talking, okay, all the young birds, you guys eat whatever Rama and Lakshmana, all the Rakshasas that Rama and Lakshmana have killed. A little middle-aged people, they will eat the bodies of the carcasses, of those people killed by the Vanaras, like Sugriva and Jambavan and all these things. We old people who